Okay, I had a new toy come in today, and I've been out practicing. And this is done on the EOS R. This is a full frame camera with the Canon 100mm macro lens. Now, I've attached the macro 250 magnifier to the front of this, which is this thing here. And I will link in the bottom if you want to pick this up. But this is what I've got going here, okay, is what's going on. And I've got a bolt flash unit, which I think the flash was extremely cheap. I mean, I can't remember what I paid for it, but I'll have a link to it. It's a really cheap, it flashes, it even turns on for continuous light. I ran it most of the time with continuous light for most of my photos, which helped. So let's remove the bolt. You can also use your own flash. Okay, so this is what we come up with next. Now the bolt does come with, I forget what you call them, but to attach to the front of it. So the whole unit looks like this with the magnifier. And how it attaches to the 100mm macro lens by Canon is you got two switches on each side here. Squeeze them and it comes right off. It's that simple. So you can choose to have this on or very quickly be done with connecting it. And I took some photos. Now keep in mind, it's the first time I've used it. So it came in today. I connected it, maybe spent a half an hour looking at it and getting the hang of it. And I went outside, sat on the front porch and connected this up and said, okay, that looks pretty good. And I even had it set on autofocus. A lot of people tell you with macro photography not to use autofocus, but I had it set on autofocus and the stabilizer was on, and I was still rocking back and forth a little bit to get my photos, but it made it a little easier with the actual autofocus with this. And this comes with, I'm going to open this up for you, which was really nice. I mean, this company wasn't bad to deal with. I mean, it even came with this thing. This is really well made. You know, piece of foam inside and that. And I mean, really, because if you want to carry it around, you know, you take that off and you just slide it back in there. And down it goes. And now it's protected. So I thought that was pretty cool that they that box came with it, because the Canon EOS R with the macro lens looks like this, and what it does is you're not going to be 100mm now. You're going to be closer. This is a 1.2 macro lens, and this is going to up at 2x. So literally, we're going to turn the 100mm Canon lens into a 1.4. We're going to make it 4 times. So we have to get closer. And I mean closer, okay? But you're going to get amazing, amazing detail. And I'll have a bunch of pictures here at the end of the video so you can check it out. Now remember, this is the first time I've ever done this. This ain't like I've been doing this and practicing this for a couple weeks or months like most macro photographers out there. I mean, you're talking pure amateur here. So, and I think the photos turned out pretty good for the first time of trying this and for having this little get-up put together when I was just sitting on the front porch. You know, I'd see a bee land on a flower or a moth or whatever, and I'd sneak up and try to get a picture, but you're getting quite a ways away from you're getting not quite, you're getting pretty close to your subject. Like, the lens was about that far away from a bee, but it was really enlarged. I do have 2 photos where I took with this setup. I have one without, with just the macro lens, and then I have one with this unit actually attached to it. So, and I think it was well worth it. I was amazed. I mean, this thing here, I mean, it's a magnifying glass, and it was like, I don't know, 70 bucks or something like that. I'll have a link to it on Amazon. But that was it. I think it completes this 100mm macro lens. I really do. I even took a picture of the phone to show the clarity of, so you could see like how clear everything was. It wasn't blurry, and the autofocus did work with it. at least with the Canon EOS R. And to me, if you're going to run the 100mm macro lens and you're going to do macro photography, this really is a must. I mean, this really completes the ensemble, basically, is what I'm saying. Now, Canon does sell a macro lens, and it's 5 times. Apparently very difficult to use. It's been around for years, over 10 years. And it's like a $900 lens and never goes down in price. You never see it on eBay too often used. I've never seen it. I've looked. And but if you've already got the 100mm macro lens, and you can pick up these 100mm macro lenses right now. I've seen them on Facebook, eBay. I've seen them up there now for $500 all day long. People getting rid of them. Even on, if you check the used camera lenses on a lot of camera sites. So you pick that up, add this $70 gadget to it. It connects to the front, and boom, you're off and running for macro photography. Now you do need some form of light. If you already got a flash, that's fine. There's lots of guys that run flashes. But you look how easy that went on there. I mean, I'm done in less than a second. There ain't no screwing, there ain't no nothing. I'm not screwing anything. Now, when I add my flash unit to it, this bolt flash, I have to screw the adapter to it, which it comes with. I didn't have to buy any extra adapters. And it just screws to the front of it. And then the bolt adapter unit clips on like this. And then this actually connects to the Canon EOS R. And the flash does work, continuous light works, everything works with that. But that's a pretty easy setup. And that's actually a much lighter flash than your other flashes. Like you take a look at this flash here. Okay, it's a monster compared to that, you know. Like, look at the size of that. Okay, that's a lot heavier. I don't like to put these flashes on top of my camera because they're just too heavy. Usually when I use these flashes, I'll put them on a tripod. I've got 2 of these. They're what are these? These are Godox TT685s, and I had to upgrade them to work with the Canon EOS R, which is free. But I have 2 of these, and I have a remote sensor, is what I have. And I have this here. So this is what connects to the top of my camera, and in these flashes, I put them wherever I want. So I may take this flash, and like if I'm taking pictures of birds out one day, I'll set this up on a tripod, and that's why I got this crazy apparatus on here on the bottom, so it just clips on. But where I predict, and that's the thing about wildlife, wherever you think the bird's going to land, I may set up my flashes at 2 sections on a very low setting, and then with my big zoom lens, I'll take my pictures. But that's what those are for. But you can see the difference in the size compared to this bolt. Now, like I said, a lot of people put a flash to have a cone come down. There's even one particular flash out there, I forget the name of it, made in the UK, where it has all these little arms that come off of it. And that looks pretty cool, but they're pretty expensive. Like I said, this setup here was probably the cheapest setup you can do. Like this bolt flash, you know, it was I forget, it was like 30, 50 bucks. I'll find it and have a link to it. But it really wasn't that much compared to running other flashes. So if you've got the Canon EOS R, and I'm sure the Canon 80D or any Canon you got that runs the 100mm 1.2 macro lens, everything will work just fine for you. But this setup worked really good. And if you want to see, make sure my screen's not out. If you want to see a bunch of photos I took, I'll have them at the end of this video, and you can check them out. But like I said, remember, this is having this, you know, this macro magnifying glass for like, I don't know, 1 hour. And I was out in the front yard taking pictures. So these, you can't get any more amateur than this. And I am far from being a professional. I mean, I'm still learning everything about my EOS R and playing with it more and more. And the heat is starting to go away a little bit in Tennessee, which is great. I can't wait to get out and take some pictures of elk and get out there. I'm guessing another couple of weeks and we'll be done with this heat, and I can finally get out then and be done with this heat wave. But this thing's pretty cool. And the reason I picked up this macro stuff is I've always had the macro lens. I've had that for a couple of years. And a lot of times I'll take pictures of the family with it, because you can use it for portraits of the family also or whatever. But I picked it up because when I'm out doing wildlife and I got my big zoom lens, I mean, I'm literally morning or night. And I find nighttime is when most animals are active. When I want to get pictures of deer, or I want to get pictures of, it's morning and night. Usually when the afternoon comes, there's not much moving around, and that was the thing. So I picked up the macro lens, so I figured, I could throw my strap on and kind of walk around, take some pictures of some bugs, and see what I could find in the afternoon instead of just being bored and sitting there waiting for the sun to go down. And that was the whole reason I picked that up. So my macro lens goes in my kit with my big zoom lens, and I got a couple other lenses I take too. I'll make a video one of these days about what my pack looks like and how I pack all this and go in. Like, soon it's going to be cool enough to do that. And you're going to be pretty impressed when I show you all this, because I don't run regular backpacks. And I'll make another video talking about that, I guess, and I'll upload that. But this is a macro lens, and I bought it with a $70 macro magnifier, and it looks really cool. So check out the photos at the end of this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.